I've had a love-hate relationship with standards and rubrics. Up until tonight, maybe about 2 hours ago, I was just gonna rant against state standards. So let me talk to the general audience by saying that admins like that, or like when teachers write state standards on the board. This is what they want to see when they walk in and they observe us. Would you say that's correct, Jacob, or am I off on that?
No, that's the first thing they look at is the board to see if you have a standard objective, so forth.
And so I feel like I've been a little bit frustrated by that because I've asked myself, well, is that all you care about? That I have the standard up? What if I'm not even teaching? And I was going to rant and just say, I think that's ridiculous. I think that's not kosher. It's not acceptable. But then I understand where they're coming from. If I'm an admin and I walk in, I want to know what the teacher's teaching. So the state standard is important. You should, at some level, know what you're teaching. Let somebody know the standard. My kind of rule of thumb as I've looked at this is that put a here's the problem. We don't just teach one standard. If
Right.
you're an English teacher, you'll teach two or three standards sometimes in one day, in one classroom, one period, I mean. And so one standard is not even what you're teaching sometimes. You're teaching multiple standards. So I guess my pushback is write the standard and just leave it up there. And then add another standard sometimes too. One of the things I've also thought about is, and I've used in the past, is limit your standards to the essential standards, because at least as an English teacher, you cover the same standards over and over again. Standards dealing with writing, reading, and speaking. And they involve those, and they're worded a certain way. Kind of create an essential standards list that you kind of draw from week after week and just put those up, and then just maybe put them on the wall and then write them, because admin will be looking for that. So I was going to say, Jacob, up until a couple of hours ago, throw out the standards.
I didn't
But
think you were going to say that. Really?
but they have their place and I understand them. Well, I just get frustrated because I feel like sometimes admin comes in and says, is your standard up?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm going to leave now.
Yeah.
What if I'm not teaching them? You're happy that I wrote two or three sentences on the board? Isn't there more to teaching?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they have, they have things that they have to take care of too, to be fair to them. They have to hit a lot of teachers. And you know what? They're pretty smart administrators. They kind of know, Ruben, if they come and see you and you're teaching, like you're saying, hey, don't they see my teaching? They've seen you teach and they're going to say, you know what? I don't need to come to Ruben's room all the time because I know he's teaching. And I will come that 1 or 2 times a year because that's what I need to do to make my presence. And I'm going to look at the standard. But really, I've learned, I think most teachers figure this out eventually. You do your job, you work hard, you teach, and you see them, and then when they come in and you're doing your you're communicating with the students are working in group. They love to see group work and love kids presenting, and that's great because they should be. That's part of our standards too, the oral standards. But when they see that, they're not gonna worry about you too much. They're not gonna worry about that standard either so much. If they see that things are happening in your classroom, kids are learning, you're not gonna get bothered by the admin too much. Would you agree?
I I think you're right, because I haven't been I'm ranting, but I haven't been punched in the face on this issue. I don't know why I'm ranting.
Wait a minute.
But I'm
I
just
mean,
saying,
no one's bothered you. You're just saying, you're just ranting to rant.
no, I think I guess I've never been docked by this, but I
Mhm,
feel like, you know what admin should do, in my opinion,
mhm.
is they should communicate it a little bit differently. They should say things like, we know you're teaching across multiple standards, but can you just put one of the standards you're teaching so that we know what you're talking about? We know what you're doing. Or at least tell us, put on your board something to into what you're teaching so we can just look at it and we can connect what you're doing.
Or
And you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Or can they, or even this might be better because really aren't the standards for the students to see? I mean, that's what they tell us, but should we put it in their language, like
See that that,
break it
that
down?
that's
Mm,
what's frustrating with the standards is that nobody reads them.
Kids,
Like it's frustrating because you put them up there and the students don't read them. You barely read them, but
mhm,
on the other hand, I get him too. Like
yeah.
I open it by saying it's my love hate relationship. But here's another love hate relationship: the rubrics.
Mm.
Rubrics have always bothered me, and I don't know why until recently. And now I'm figuring out rubrics are my friend, and rubrics are more the student's friend. And I feel like the best rubric is not a description of what a 4, a 3, and a 2 and a 1 is.
Mm.
The best rubrics are are the actual assignment written out, the final product. So I tested that. I've been testing that lately. And it takes a lot of work because either you have to find an exemplar or you have to write the exemplar.
Yeah.
And you create, so I do 10, 9, 8, 7 kind of thing.
Mm.
And it's the same thing, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, yeah.
But I show the top example and what I'm looking for.
Hmm.
And I show a C example and I show an F example. But the actual assignment, that's the rubric. And students are all about reading the rubric now. Students are seeing the rubric and they want to look at the rubric.
Mm.
Whereas in the past, they don't ever look at the rubric. This is my rant.
Well,
I'm
I think
tired of
it's good.
standards and I'm tired of rubrics where no student is reading it and only admins read it once a semester and I don't even read it.
I I don't know, man. You're on coke or something. But listen, rubrics, you just gave a great example. That's what matters. If you show exact actual um essays or act, right? This is what an A looks like. This is what a C looks like. This is what an F looks like. Man, kids love that because now you're modeling it, right? This is what I'm looking for. Give me the A, and the kids will shoot for that. But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean,
I thought this
rubrics
was
aren't
called,
fun to create either.
I
There's
thought this was
AIs now
called,
for that, huh?
I thought this was called a rant. Now you're saying I'm on coke.
No, you
You
sound like
wanted
you're a
me to
little.
rant, and now I'm ranting, and now you're like, "Oh, calm down, Ruben."
I mean, these are things we could work out, Ruben. This is what I'm here for, to help you work it out. But no, I think you have some good ideas to provide to the kids these great
Otherwise,
rubrics.
the first time I've ever heard of the word rubric was at ELC, and
Okay.
they came at me with, "Where's your rubric? What's the rubric?" And so I developed rubrics,
Hmm.
and I worked hard. Oh, rubrics and I forgot to mention this part about standards. There was a movement for a while where you ask the students to read the standards. What are you doing?
Oh
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
doing. Let's read the standard. Talk about a monumental waste of time.
yeah,
So what that they could read the standard and explain what the standard is? They're not learning the standard.
yeah. Very
Second
good.
point is the rubric. It has been all this time I'm creating and fashioning these rubrics. Nobody's reading them.
Are you okay, man?
No. Why are you accepting all
I
this?
don't know. I just felt like we have
Why,
different
why,
dispositions.
why are you accepting the status quo like it's nothing? Like it's, oh, that's just how I'm just here to accept my paycheck
No,
and
I didn't. What?
I'm just gonna do the rubric. Yes,
I don't want
boss.
to cause any friction. I want to get through my last few years.
I thought we were gonna turn this into a rant, and now you're checking me for being excited.
No, I
All
mean
right,
I have
sorry.
rants too, but my rants don't have to be the same rants as yours. You have things that you're upset about that I'm not upset about. But I definitely,
What's
I
your
bet you I
rant?
have some things that I'm upset
What are
about
you upset about?
that you're not upset about. You know, I'm 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 upset. I you know what? My biggest thing
You
about
want more vacation?
No, my biggest thing about teaching, and this is true, okay, is just the documents and you know what it gets me crazy at this time of year, Ruben, is all the videos that we have to watch to, like the video for
Sexual harassment.
safety, sexual harassment, technology. We have a series of these things. I'm like, and they want us to do it while we're at work during a conference, which is okay, but I have other things I want to do. So it really gets daunting. I'm behind in a couple videos. I have to watch them, but we're talking about time consumption and time waste, and it's like, wow, I wish we could just do this one every like maybe once every 5 years at each one. It's just like the same video every year, and you're like, oh my God, and you have to take a test afterwards, and you can't miss one. There's 20 questions. It's like every one of them has some type of generated assessment to take, so you could it's just that at this time of year, it drains me because I'm like, I have to watch this. It's in the back of my mind. I got to watch these 2 videos before this date, or I'm gonna get an email telling me, Mr. Aguilar, you haven't done watch the video. So that stuff. So I think I have that's a value rant, Ruben. See, I mean, you can learn from my rants. This is a real rant. This
This
is
is
how.
you ranting. I don't like watching video. And I'm so upset about watching video. And I have time. I don't want to use my time.
I think
I
you're
thought we were
representing me
gonna
incorrectly.
rant. You're just talking
No,
like
you're
an
repres
old,
That's my rant. I'm upset
you're
about it.
like
I'm not
an old
happy.
you're like an old Jewish grandmother. Oh,
Oh,
I'm so
please.
sad about my rant.
All
Little
right. Thank you for that, Ruben. Well,
anyway,
all
who
right.
started this video? You or
We'll
me?
let nobody started. We just started talking. We'll let the people go. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
joining us. Thank you for joining and listening to my rant and Jacob's concerns. Concerns.
All right.
Change this video name to Pot and Delivers Concerns. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.